All right, let's go back out to the action on the mat. The 135-pound category. The official is Sean Carney from Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania. Mike Samples will be wearing the green ankle bands, and Khalil Abdul Malik of Virginia will be wearing the red ankle bands.
Both wrestlers winning by 2 points getting into this round, which, as we saw in the past, doesn't mean a whole lot, because now we're in the finals just for all the marbles. They actually relax in the finals. It's time to have a little bit of fun, open it up. It sounds funny, but realistically, that goes into their minds. Getting to in the semifinals is where you see a lot of the tension and the heavy competition. Once you hit these finals, Parade of Champions, little TV action, you know where you're at. It's time to open up. Have a good time with it.
I mentioned Samples telling us his favorite move was confidential. Do you know how he pulled his weight coming to this this tournament, Ed?
No idea.
Air sickness on the airplane flight.
Oh, boy.
He's a little bit of a comedian. I'm sure he's not too funny to Mr. Malik right now, though.
Exactly. Malik attempted a little double leg there. Basically, wrestlers feeling each other out a little bit. Malik looking like currently the quicker of the two. Just seems to have a lot of movement going. A lot of nervous energy. Front headlock. Malik not doing a lot with that. This is a move here where the official will out like a Russian tie, and then he'll call that stalemate. They'll give you a good 5 count. He'll count to 5 of himself. If you don't do anything with it, let's get back to action.
Both wrestlers regarded as great takedown artists, so it'll be interesting to see how that develops.
Malik telegraphing a little bit. When I say that, he's shooting far out, he's winding up a little bit, and that'll be refined. He wouldn't be a nice duck. Real nice. Didn't quite finish it up. Hand fighting.
Down to 34 seconds remaining first period in a scoreless duel between Khalil Abdul Malik of Virginia and Mike Samples of Oklahoma.
I got a feeling we're going to see something happen here. These kids aren't holding on to each other. They're flurrying a little bit, mixing it up, pummeling in. Once again, some poor shots by both wrestlers, but we'll see what happens.
Down to 10 seconds remaining first period.
I don't think we'll see any mistakes here.
Malik trying to shoot in. Can't do it. And that's the end of the first period.
He's got that duck under. If he commits himself to it, he might have taken him down one of those 2 times he tried it.
Malik has deferred, and Samples says, I'll go from the bottom to start the second period. So it's Mike Samples on the bottom and Khalil Abdul Malik on top.
Samples with a stand. Malik with a leg lace. Very nice. That's pretty much a college move there. Bringing him back into a crab, and let's see if he works a tilt from here. He's got the leg in. Throws the other boot in. Okay, he's trying to pull that arm out. Looks like he may be...
Malik, I should point out, has a 4.0 grade average in high school.
Incredible.
Tremendous student.
Incredible. To find the time to perform as he's doing here and dedicate those time to studies and all that, that's just great.
Once again, trying to stand up and run away from him is Samples, and he does get the 1-point escape.
Okay, so we have the 2 takedown artists back on their feet again. Samples going to have to open up here a little bit. We see Malik doing most of the control, trying to whip snap to a front headlock. He's going to have to run that and throw that by.
Because of Malik's grade point average, he's being sought after by some pretty good academic institutions as well to go on in college. Maryland, Boston University, William & Mary, James Madison, University of Virginia, and North Carolina after his services as a college wrestler.
I don't think you mentioned one weak school there, George.
Great academic schools.
He's like double to a bear hug. Let's see if he points that hip in. He could toss him. He's got to get that hip in front. Samples studding out there with a whizzer. Anything can go here.
Down to 30 seconds here in the second period.
Well, there you go. How about that one?
And he picks up 2 points.
They're both in an advantage-type position there. It's a tough way to go. Although Malik initiated, went from the double, locked up to a bear hug, he didn't get that hip in front, which prohibited him from doing anything, and Samples capitalized on it.
Samples dinged himself up a little bit.
Looks like he may have got the wind knocked out of him.
As they're working on him. Both wrestlers looking a little worse for wear and tear here.
A lot of action in that short period of time.
Here's a look at that last move.
Real nice. Great balance, great hips by Samples, excellent. I mean, when you're heading on your way to your back and you find a way to turn that hip up and come up on top, that's a good job.
Malik on the bottom and Mike Samples on top. You may be wondering where the young man from Oklahoma may be going to college. He says no one has offered him a scholarship yet. I got a feeling that might change after this performance at the National High School Championships.
You bet, you bet. Another credit to the tournament.
Down to 8 seconds remaining second period. And Mike Samples of El Reno, Oklahoma has a 3-0 lead over Khalil Abdul Malik of Virginia as we get set to head to the third period. And as we start period number 3, Malik will be on the bottom, Samples on top.
Samples doing just what he has to do to maintain this lead right here.
Packed bottom section here at the Palumbo Center for the National High School Wrestling Championships. As we got to look at the crowd.
Malik with an inside switch, just trying to come out.
And he gets 1 point for the escape.
Okay, 3-1. We got an injury. Don't know what's going on here.
He appears to be in some pain. Malik does.
Uh-huh.
And the trainer comes on the mat. We should point out, in case people were wondering, they have the best of medical care on hand here at the tournament. Several trainers on hand and a doctor in residence as well.
When you have this many blue chippers in one room, you don't want anything to happen to them, and you want the best possible staff on board to be there. The great thing about it, too, is they're watching the action. It's so important for a trainer to see how the injury occurred in wrestling. It's not putting anything around other sports, but there's just so many different positions and so much pressure in an individual spot. Still not sure what happened.
He pulled away, and it looked like he may have pulled a muscle in his leg the way or did something to his knee. They're working on his leg right now.
George, I think you're absolutely right. Sometimes you can just have something out of position, and the weight of your body will do it.
And he was obviously in pain as he broke away and got the 1 point for the escape. You could see that he wasn't right, that look of anguish on his face. He heard something when he pulled away.
You bet. You bet. We'll see what happens here. When I say we'll see what happens, well, we have a show of tape on that upper thigh. It looks like he came into this with a problem.
They're going from the neutral position with 1:39 seconds left, third period. Samples tries to shoot in on the leg, can't get in there.
Good single, got it pretty deep. Malik fighting in, Wizard head in. Good defensive position, great job.
He fought him off nicely.
Great job. Body was entirely in a good position. That's what you teach your kids. Head in, chest in, you got to get in the action. Nice singles, got to outflank him though. He's studding out underneath there.
Malik needs a takedown to get back into the match. He trails 3-1 with 1:06 remaining, third period.
Well, he went for a double there. Now he's overextended. His best bet's to get out of there. Or lock it up and wait for a stalemate. And that's what you have.
Stalemate with 56 seconds remaining, third period. 3-1 lead for Mike Samples of El Reno, Oklahoma over Khalil Abdul Malik of Virginia.
We have a Samples injury now. We have a good look here. Let's see what the problem is.
Trainer comes on the mat and asked him what's wrong.
Little wince there by Samples.
Malik trying to shoot in on a leg, and he got himself in trouble.
Yeah, it was a poor shot. Samples just sprawled and spun behind. Nothing fancy there.
And he gets 2 points.
He's got 5 seconds to attempt to take him to the mat, or he's going to be warned for stalling here. You got a warning. When that wrestler gets to his feet, you have 5 seconds to do something. That doesn't mean you have to take him totally to the mat, but you must attempt.
With 39 seconds remaining in the match, though, Samples in control with a 5-1 lead.
That's some good action here, George. Barring the injuries, these kids went at each other right from the beginning. Granby didn't have any height on that. Samples just chinned him back, took advantage of poor body position by Malik. And 20 seconds to go. This may end this way.
It looks like Samples is going to capture the 135-pound championship. Another strong showing by an Oklahoma wrestler.
You know, it's funny. We tend to look at Pennsylvania and our respective areas, how great wrestling is, and then you look at a tournament like this with the Oklahomas and the Kansases.
And he lets out a war whoop as he scores the win. Mike Samples of El Reno High School in Oklahoma, the champion at the National High School Wrestling Championships at 135 pounds, a 5-1 decision over Khalil Abdul Malik from St. Stephen's and St. Agnes High School in Virginia.
Great job by both wrestlers. Nothing for either kid to be embarrassed about as far as performance went. There was a total commitment out there by both kids. Great to see.
And as I mentioned, Samples not being courted by anybody. I got a feeling after capturing the national championship at 135 pounds and a 3.76 grade point average, some people are going to be knocking on his door.
I almost find that hard to believe. I mean, the kid is very talented. There's no doubt. And with the credentials that he had, maybe that was a misprint there. Real good job, and you're right, George. He's going to have some people calling him, some letters sent his way. Rightfully so, too.
Next up will be 140 pounds, and we've been waiting for that one. Kerry Colat from Pennsylvania will be involved in that one. But first, we're going to go to the United Sports Apparel location, and Todd DeAngelis, who's standing by with Mike Samples of El Reno, Oklahoma.
Our 135-pound champion, George. And how do you prepare for something like this? You wrestle against relatively mediocre competition all year long, and then you come to this level. That's kind of a change-up, really.
Well, I can say, you know, the guys in Oklahoma are great, and I still haven't had a match like my state finals match in Oklahoma. Those guys, and my workout partner, Justin King, he's an All-American here today, and he really pushes me hard in the workout room.
There was a lot of talk that you haven't been offered a scholarship yet to any college. You think this might change that?
Definitely.
Great. Our 135-pound champion, Mike Samples. George?